Alright, so you've got your Sinclair ZX Spectrum computer, but what do you do with it? Well, for most people, the only thing they really wanted to do was play games. Hopefully there's some instructions here on what I need to do to play my game. Loading. Place the cassette into your tape recorder with the printed side facing upwards. Ensure that a lead goes from the ear socket on the Spectrum to the ear socket on the recorder, and that the mic socket is disconnected. Your Spectrum has an ear and mic socket, so we're interested in the ear socket for loading. Ear, and ear as well. And if your game fails to load, then you might need to try a different volume on your tape player. I keep mine on 6, and that seems to work with just about any game. So once you've plugged in your Spectrum, it just comes on. There is a nice little menu which you don't often get on 8-bit home computers. There's two ways of loading games. You can either just use the tape loader, but I think it's recommended for 48K games to go into 48K basic. And then press J. So press J on the keyboard. And you don't need to name the program, just press quotation marks twice. Like this, press enter. And then press play on the tape. I chose to play Cobra, by the way. This is a 48K game. A lot of games had a 48K and a 128K mode, depending on what sort of machine you owned. This game only supports 48K, so it doesn't make use of the extra RAM, and it doesn't make use of the proper sound chip. It still produces sound because earlier Spectrums can still produce sound from a sort of PC speaker sort of thing. The game itself only takes about 4 minutes to load, which is quite nice. It's one of those single load games, so everything is squished into 48 kilobytes. Right, here we go. Cobra in Spectrum Vision. So you can see already it's throwing around a lot of stuff, and it's moving very smoothly. I'll just collect this hamburger. Oh, I think I scared that woman away. This game shows no mercy. You can see the people that made this game added a bit of weird humour to it. It's not a dark, gritty movie license. It's sort of more like it wants to be a Super Mario game. Did prams feature heavily in the movie? So actually, most games weren't as smooth as this. But this is an example that it is very possible on a Spectrum to have games that are like this. So of course it looks like a Spectrum game. But it's throwing around a lot of objects quite nicely, and it's not slowing down at all. The aim here is to collect all of the hamburgers, find the woman, and kill a lot of baddies, I think. Actually, I can't actually remember, and I've never got past level 1 on this game. This game shows no mercy. You can see all those enemies down there just waiting for me to jump down. This game plays so smoothly. The only trouble I have with it is that when you do move left and right, your character does take a couple of steps at a time. So there might be a split second where you need to attack, but you can't do it because you're facing the wrong direction. But this game does go to show that the Spectrum is capable of smooth scrolling games, and that is something that it wasn't actually designed to do. It's almost like a bit of an accident that it's just about fast enough for games like this. But because it's all been squeezed into just 48k, this game is very short. There's only 3 pretty short levels in it, and the sound is a bit squitty. You know, you could have bought it knowing that it was the cheapest machine out there, and still it plays a pretty good game. I mean, obviously there were some bad games for it, but there was also a lot of good games for it. I think the only trouble developers had, apart from worrying about making the game play fast enough, was the way the screen is displayed. There's only one screen mode, and you get that weird thing where the colour is fixed to the screen, regardless of whether an object is moving across it or not. But yeah, that's a look at a 48k game on the Spectrum. For my next video, I think I'll do a 128k game. to show you something a little bit more ambitious that was released later on.